Imagine a world without maps, guided only by the sun, the stars, and the flight of birds. This was the world of the Vikings. We know them as raiders, but their greatest legacy was written not in blood, but on the waves of the vast, unknown Atlantic. They were history's most daring explorers. This is the real story of how they pushed the boundaries of the known world and became the first Europeans to reach the Americas. Number 10, the push from Norway. The Viking age of exploration didn't begin with a lust for adventure, but with necessity. By the late 9th century, Scandinavia was becoming crowded. Good farmland was scarce. Ambitious chieftains were being forced into submission by powerful kings like Harald Fairhair, who sought to unify Norway. For many, the choice was simple: bend the knee or take to the sea. The westward ocean represented the ultimate freedom, a chance to find new land, build new lives, and be their own masters. Number 9, the longship. The Vikings' westward expansion was made possible by one of the greatest technological achievements of the age, the longship. This was a vessel born of oak and iron will. Its clinker-built hull was incredibly strong, yet flexible, allowing it to bend and ride with the ferocious Atlantic waves rather than break against them. Its shallow draft meant it could navigate both deep oceans and shallow rivers, making it the perfect tool for exploration and raiding alike. It was the key that unlocked the ocean. Number 8, Iceland, the first great prize. Following birds and whispers on the wind, Norse sailors discovered a new world. Iceland was a land of fire and ice, a vast uninhabited island rich with pastures and sea life. Beginning around 874 AD, a massive migration began. Chieftains and free farmers fled the growing power of kings in Norway to establish a new society. They created a unique commonwealth, governed by an annual assembly called the Althing, the oldest surviving parliament in the world. Number 7, Erik the Red in Greenland. The push westward was often driven by outlaws. After being exiled from Iceland for manslaughter, a chieftain named Erik the Red sailed further west in search of land sighted years earlier. He found a vast, icy wilderness with habitable fjords. In a marketing masterstroke, he named the new land Greenland, hoping the appealing name would attract settlers. It worked. In 986, he led a fleet of 25 ships, carrying families and livestock, to establish the first European colony in Greenland. Number 6, life on the edge of the world. The Greenland colony survived for nearly 500 years, but it was a life of constant struggle. The short summers allowed for meager farming and grazing sheep, but the true currency of the colony came from the north. Norse hunters would embark on dangerous expeditions into the Arctic ice to hunt walrus for their ivory tusks. This Nordic gold was a priceless luxury good in Europe, and the Greenlanders' only valuable export to trade for the iron and grain they could not produce themselves. Number 5, Leif Erikson sights a new world. The next step was an accident. Around the year 1000, Erik the Red's own son, Leif Erikson, was sailing from Norway to Greenland when his ship was blown far off course by a storm. When the fog finally lifted, he and his crew saw something astonishing: a coastline they didn't recognize, covered in dense forests. This was likely the coast of modern-day Canada. Without making landfall, he corrected his course and sailed on to Greenland. But the story of this new, timber-rich land to the west began to spread. Number 4. Vinland, land of wine. Intrigued by Leif's story, a subsequent expedition set out from Greenland specifically to explore this new world. They landed in a place of incredible abundance. They found rivers so choked with salmon they had never seen anything like it. Forests with massive timber trees, a priceless resource for the Greenlanders. And, most famously, wild grapes growing in profusion. They named the land Vinland, the land of wine, and established a small settlement, the first European base in the Americas, nearly 500 years before Columbus. Number 3. First contact. The Vikings were not alone in this new world. Soon they encountered the indigenous peoples, whom the Norse sagas call Skrælings. Initial contact was a mix of curiosity and confusion, with attempts at trade. But misunderstandings and the Vikings' aggressive nature quickly led to violence. Frightened by a bellowing Norse bull and armed with superior numbers, the Skrælings proved to be a formidable and determined enemy. The dream of Vinland was about to turn into a nightmare. Number 2. The retreat from Vinland. The Viking dream of a new world was short-lived. Despite their technological advantages, the Norse were few in number, thousands of miles from home, and facing a native population that vastly outnumbered them and knew the land intimately. The constant hostility and the sheer difficulty of maintaining such a distant outpost proved to be too much. After only a few years, the Vikings abandoned their settlement in Vinland, and the first European chapter in the Americas came to a quiet close. And number 1, the end of an era. The retreat from Vinland was a sign of things to come. Back in Greenland, the climate began to change. The medieval warm period ended and the Little Ice Age began. Winters became longer and harsher. Sea ice cut off trade with Europe, and conflict with the migrating Inuit grew. Slowly, over generations, the Greenland colony withered and died. By the 15th century, the great Viking push westward was over, fading into legend until archaeologists in the 20th century proved the sagas were true.